Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tuesday broadcast from the Arab American News. Uh, Tonight, we're going to talk about an issue that concerns the Arab American community. Last week, the Arab American News published an article on about Wayne County prosecutor rules Al-Tameemi killing was in self-defense, even though the community was mourning the death of a young man, 34 years old, with 3 kids. Yes, the prosecutor found out that the killing, whoever shot him shot him in self-defense. Now, before that, the Arab American News put on its Facebook in the English section a video that we received from sources, and in the video it shows, we're going to show the video first and then we're going to come back. Okay, so the video you've seen, the Arab American News put it on Facebook, and we received lots of comments, negative comments, asking us to bring it down because we are insensitive to the family. And I think that, they misunderstood that this is a newspaper, and in newspapers, we need to present facts. And this is, it's a very short video and it tells a lot. First, the people, even the media, told us that there was an altercation, and then Mr. Al-Tameemi dropped his gun, and then the other, union or the other worker picked up the gun and shot him and killed him. The video that we showed, it shows a different story, and that's why it is significant and important. But many people objected to this. So I have with me today a lawyer, a prominent lawyer in our community, Mr. Hilal Farhat. And the reason that he is here because we happened to visit on Friday, last Friday, after we put the paper out, in the morning, without any sleep. Myself and Mr. Hilal Farhat went down to the Wayne County Prosecutor Office to talk to Kim Worthy and her team, the prosecutors of Wayne County. Why did they find out that this is a self-defense? And we met with 4 members of her staff and herself, and myself and Mr. Hilal Farhat. I would like to welcome you, Mr. Farhat, to the broadcast.
Thank you.
You and I went to meet with Ms. Worthy and her team on Friday morning, and we had a presentation that was presented to us. By the way, one of the prosecutors, actually the main prosecutor on the case, is an Arab American. So it was, it was decided based on law, based on facts, without any kind of, a bias as far as, ethnicity and stuff like this. In your opinion, after you listened to the presentation as a lawyer, I'm a journalist, I looked at it from a different perspective, but as a lawyer, what did you think about this? First, give me your opinion about us broadcasting this on Facebook.
Well, let me start by saying, may the decedent rest in peace. I mean, it's an unfortunate incident.
And our condolences to his family and to the community.
Yes, to his family and to the community. And it's really, any time that, the community loses anybody, it's a tragedy. But with that said, as you indicated, Osama, we did visit with Prosecutor Worthy, and there was a team. And they did, in fact, present us, they put a presentation on as to why and how they came up with the conclusion that the matter was a self-defense and not and it wasn't instigated by the person that shot. And in addition to what had been posted by you, and some of the other news outlets, they actually showed us, if you remember, they showed us what had happened previous
to that. The entire
that.
video, from
Correct.
inside to the outside.
And I don't think that part of the video was made available to the public as the latter part of that video was. And just going back to your question as to this is a newspaper, I think you're justified. Sometimes newspaper don't always publish roses and positive things. Unfortunately, negative things happen in societies, and it's only fair to publish the good with the bad. And it's certainly a method of education and informing society of what goes on.
A lot of people, what really is important is a lot of people, they believe that we are really putting this video for likes and for us to get more and garner more likes. I just wanted to tell the people that really likes does not pay. We don't get checks with many likes, how many likes we have. We don't care about this. This is a newspaper, and all newspapers focus on facts. and not necessarily on likes or how many people are visiting. I mean, it's important how many people are visiting, how many people they put likes or comments, but this is not our purpose. Our purpose is to present facts, to the public. And in this video, we presented some facts. We are very sensitive to the community. We are very sensitive to the deceased and his family. But I think that the facts should be presented in this case, even though it hurts, but we must present it. Because when the prosecutor came in and they showed the video and they told us, the witnesses, what they have said, at the end they concluded that this was in self-defense. After you've seen the videos and the presentation by the prosecutor's office on last Friday, were you convinced that this is in self-defense?
So all I can say is what I witnessed from Ms. Worthy and the team of prosecutors that she had, and as you indicated, there was multiple individuals, one of whom was, not that it makes any difference, but it was, I think for sensitivity purposes, was an Arab American.
That's correct.
Hadi Abu Zaid is the prosecutor, and what they did was they provided us a presentation that had a breakdown of the videos, basically piecing the videos second by second, and it showed exactly the movements and the altercation that had taken place between Mr. Al-Tameemi and the individual that ultimately fired the gun. I believe his name was Mr. Houston.
Mr. Houston is
Yes.
25 years old,
Yes,
working for
yes.
AT&T
And
subcontractor.
yes, and there was an altercation. It was a physical fight, and then that led to Mr. Al-Tameemi picking up a weapon, and then Mr. Houston ran away, and then Mr. Al-Tameemi followed him and attempted to shoot, and it was only after Mr. Houston looked back and saw that there was the potential for the use of weapon that he drew his own weapon and shot. And again, it was broken down to us as we saw, as you and I saw, piece frame by frame, second by second,
And what's important too, and I think you remember that Prosecutor Worthy and the other prosecutors on the case, they have asked us if they would like to, if the family
Correct.
would like to go down to the prosecutor's office, and they can show them
Correct.
actually the video, and they can show them actually how did they conclude what they have concluded, that it's in self-defense. So, I don't know the family, and once again, I offer my condolences for the loss of their kid. And, he's a young man, 34 years old. He has 3 children. When the prosecutor finished the presentation, they said that they are ready anytime to meet with the family and explain to them why and how did they arrive at the decision that they arrived. In fact, you remember that they said at the end that they contacted the Imam of Karbala, Mosque Sham al-Husseini, and also they contacted the lawyer,
Correct.
who was on the case, and they offered the same.
Correct. And as was presented to us, they did not hear back from either regarding a potential meeting, which they were willing to not only meet with them, but present them with the same information that was presented to you and I.
Yeah, and they said if the family would like to meet, they're willing to set up a meeting directly with the prosecutor's office, and for them to explain what happened and how did they actually came to their conclusion. I asked the family if they would like to do that. I'm ready to set up this meeting and even go with them and meet with the prosecutor.
Or suffer some real serious injuries in order for somebody to be able to use that weapon. You cannot defend property with it, you can't, other than your own house. So if somebody was working, and it happens quite often here in the community, working at stores or gas stations or things like that, where people come in and are stealing things or being rowdy or causing problems to their businesses, and they use, and you cannot do that. That's not what the gun is intended
for a clear and present danger.
Correct. To protect
And if you draw your
from
gun,
death.
make sure that you shoot, because if you don't shoot, then the other person has the right to shoot, because you don't know the intention.
Well, I mean, assuming the other person has a gun, if you picked up your gun and you didn't shoot, and the other person may feel justified in using their gun, it could conceivably it could happen to where the other person may shoot.
Anyway, the issue will remain, because I think that this is not the first time that this happened. We hope that will be the last time. And once again, we offer our sincere condolences to the family of Al-Tameemi, and for his kids and for his wife and his mom and dad, and for the community. And we hope that we learn a lesson when we move on from here. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Farhat, for your participation.